Okay, so welcome to my stream. Today I'm doing something new. I'm trying to spend more time on TryHackMe and less time on video editing. So, without further ado, today I'm going to try to finish the rest of this Linux Privilege Escalation room on TryHackMe.com. If you don't know, this is an awesome resource. It's free. Let me see if you guys can see what I'm doing here. That's pretty big. Okay. So, there's a lot of tasks in this room. Most of them are not this long. But yeah, as I was saying, TryHackMe.com, it's a great resource. A lot of the rooms are free. If you don't know Linux, or you know some Linux and you want to learn hacking, or you know a little of both, there's still probably room to grow in here. Me being pretty new to Linux, this has been an awesome resource to learn Linux and hacking at the same time, which is quite challenging, but it's a lot of fun. So, I'm not an expert. You have been warned. But, yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy this. So we're on task 13. The user local bin suid env executable can be exploited due to it inheriting the user's path environment variable and attempting to execute programs without specifying an absolute path. First, execute the file, and note that it seems to be trying to start the Apache 2 web server. Okay, so the instructions in the beginning of this room, basically, we start the virtual machine that they host for us. I am running Kali Linux, and I'll actually need to get my OpenVPN file because I need to connect to their network so that I can SSH into this machine. So there it is, fletch64.ovpn. Alright, so there we go. Once you see initialization sequence completed, you know you are connected. So now, let's put that away. By the way, I'm using Terminator for my terminals, which I love. I just like all the shortcuts and stuff. So now, we should be able to SSH into this virtual machine. They give us the IP here. SSH user at 10.10.158.201. Oh yeah. So this is an error I've had only in this room. The host key type, they want to use SSH or RSA. So we have to specify that for some reason when we SSH. Now I don't have that memorized, so whenever you get an error, just Google it. Somebody's already answered that question. That's what I love about IT. You have everything available to you on the internet. So, where is it? Where is it? This guy. So, let's try that again and add this on here at the end. I'm going to use RSA. Oh, just kidding. What did I mess up? The dash. Yes. Give me the juice. Alright, so the password 321. Alright, so now we're into the machine. This is basically just to simulate, like, we already have, we've already gained initial access, right? So this is Linux Privilege Escalation. So this is, the scenario is we've already gained access to a machine. What do we do once we get inside to gain additional privileges? So from an offensive standpoint, this is after initial access. From a defensive standpoint, this is defending against an active intruder. Like, if I learn what an intruder would do once they gain initial access, then I know how to defend against the techniques that they may be using. I know how to secure my machine, how to harden my local machines, right? So we've already done about 12 of these tasks, and basically every task is a different way to obtain root, which, if you don't know, that just means that you have full authority on the machine. You can basically do anything at that point, generally. So this is another exploit, and I'm just going to run through these with you guys. I don't necessarily fully understand everything that I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyways, and I'm learning, and then, you know, sometimes I stop and try to research something if I feel like it totally went over my head. So in this case, the path environment variable is basically a variable that tells your computer where to look when you enter certain commands. So say you type in ls in the terminal, your computer actually looks for the command ls in different places, and so that path variable points it to the right folders on your device to find that ls command. So first thing I'm going to do is execute user local bin suid env. Of course, we're doing this on the remote machine. No. Bear with my typing skills, please. User local bin suid env. Okay, I'll get this right eventually, I swear. See, I could just copy and paste all of this, but what would be the fun in that? Alright, so we can see it's starting a web server, Apache 2. I want to be able to see what you guys see so that I can tell if you can see. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, cool. So it's already running. Okay, cool. So what's next? Run strings on the file to look for strings of printable characters. Strings user local bin suid env. Okay, yeah, strings basically looks for printable characters. That's what it just said that. So what do we got here? We got a library. Gmon looks maybe some kind of service or something. I don't know what most of that stuff is, but we are searching the path variable for printable characters. This tells us everything that's in there. One line service Apache 2 to start suggests that the service executable is being called to start the web server. However, the full path of the executable user bin service is not being used. Compile the code located at home user tools suid service C into an executable called service. This code simply spawns a bash shell. Okay, so we are going to compile a program that will call a bash shell into this folder that the path variable points to. GCC service home user tools suid service.c. Alright, so we did that. Prepend the current directory or where the new service executable is located to the path variable. And run the suid env executable to gain a root shell. Okay, so now we're adding that location where we compiled that bash shell spawner to the path variable. Okay, so also, by the way, I apologize. I know my camera is terribly out of focus. This is a new setup for me, so hopefully next week it'll be better. Look at that, we got root. So wow. Interesting. Well, that was cool. We got root. Alright. So I'm not sure exactly how that worked, but I know that we manipulated the path variable. And I'm assuming that was, you know, a folder that we shouldn't have been able to compile that bash shell spawner to, or that shouldn't have been added into the path variable, one of the two. So yeah, that's the vulnerability there, as far as I understand. The user local bin suid env2 executable is identical to user local bin suid env, except that it uses the absolute path of the service executable user bin service to start the Apache 2 web server. Verify this with strings. Strings user local bin suid env2. Okay, so this one uses the absolute path. The other one wasn't using the full path, or it was using the relative path. User bin service. Strings user local bin suid env2. So we get exit root. Did I do it right? Yes, I did it right. Okay. So now we do now it's pointing us to user sbin service Apache 2 start. In Bash versions 4.2 and earlier, it is possible to define shell functions with names that resemble file paths. Then export those functions so that they are used instead of any executable at that file path. Interesting. That's a big vulnerability. Verify the version of Bash installed on the Debian VM is less than 4.2. Bin bash version. Bin bash version is 4.115. I wonder what my bin bash version is. That's kind of freaky. So let's see. You guys can't use this one on me. I have version 5. Okay. Strings. We did that. Version. Create a bash function with the name user sbin service that executes a new bash shell using TACP so permissions are preserved, and export the function. So, real quick, this room, I didn't want to do a YouTube video on it because it holds your hand the whole time. Not all the rooms are like this. Some of them, they don't give you any instructions. They just say, find the flags, and then they just give you an IP address. This one is on the opposite side of the spectrum. They literally tell you every single thing to do step by step and give you all the code, which is great if you don't want to do research, but don't get used to it. So anyways, I just wanted to run through it, and I didn't want to edit the video, so I'm doing a live stream. Function user sbin service bin bash dash p. Okay. Not on my machine. I actually love that this terminal is transparent because I can see what I'm supposed to type through the terminal, which is cool. I could just do them side by side, but I want you guys to have a clear view. Okay, so we just defined a function we basically moved bin bash, or we defined bin bash as this folder, right? I think. We created a function. Yeah. I have a lot to learn about bash. Anyway. Export F user sbin service. Okay. Run the suid env2 executable to gain a root shell. User local bin suid env2. Boom, and we got root again. Okay, so that's another way of manipulating the path variable. So I did a video on path variables, how to add to path variables, because I was running Ubuntu before, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to learn how to configure all the tools and do everything myself. As you can see, I abandoned that notion, as noble as it may have been. It was really hard to to learn Linux and Ubuntu at the same time. So basically, yeah, I stopped doing that. But now I'm running Kali, and it's a little bit easier to get going with things. So it is what it is. I did learn a lot from running Ubuntu, and I could go back to it. You know, I could always go back. So no, this will not work on Bash version 4.4 and above. So this is for this is for Linux machines with a little bit of an older Bash version. So that's why you got to do your recon and know what kind of you got to know what kind of programs and versions things are running. When in debugging mode, Bash uses the environment variable ps4 to display an extra prompt for debugging statements. Run the user local bin suid env2 executable with Bash debugging enabled, and the ps4 variable set to an embedded command which creates a suid version of bin bash. Oh dang. This one's crazy. So we're calling the path variable. Don't know what that does. We're setting the debugging prompt to call or copy our shell spawner into this folder and then make it executable. And then we are calling a path variable, or something like that. Man, I need to learn Bash. Okay, that's my takeaway so far from today. Let's see. env I shellops equals xtrace ps4 equals apostrophe $, copy bin bash to temp root bash and change permissions temp root bash user local bin suid. Boom. Command not found. Ink. Oh my god. How many of you were just waiting for that to happen? Alright. You're just watching. I have to type too. Alright, so my oh my. Oh, so we called the debugger. That's why it's acting crazy, I think. That's what that looks like to me. Okay, temp root bash p. That did not give us a shell. What did I do wrong? Hello? Oh yeah, we're SSH, so not all of our command recall functionality works. Alright, let's try it again. I'm going to cheat this time. In the interest of you guys not getting bored out of your minds watching me make mistakes. Temp root bash p. Help if I use the right punctuation. Oh, I am root. What? I was root. Okay. Alright, that did work. Wait a minute. We never exited out of root, did we? Nope, we did not. Okay, just to prove that works, wait a minute. Get me out of here. I don't want to be root. How to stop? Oh, okay. Control C, that's what I did, to get out of that root shell. Control C stops like whatever's running, so I guess we were stuck in root. Boom, root shell. How do you like that? Out of root shell, exit. Okay. Remember to remove the temp root bash executable and exit out of the elevated shell before continuing, as you will create this file again later in the room. So to delete something in Linux, we use rm for remove. Rm temp root bash, no such file. Rootabish. Rootabish does not exist. Okay, are you sure? Yeah, I do. I want to do it. Oh, I'm not permitted because I'm not root. Okay, well, here's what I have to say to that. I'm going to become root again, and then remove it again. Do it. Just rootabish. Alright, now it's gone. Now we get out of root. Now we're good. Alright, cool. So that one's done. On to task 16. We're flying through. If a user accidentally, this is passwords and keys. So now they give you titles. It's all like a bunch of sections. So I did a bunch of user permissions. I did cron jobs, weak file permissions, a bunch of stuff. Okay, so passwords and keys, history files. If a user accidentally types their password on the command line instead of into a password prompt, it may get recorded in a history file. Oh, I see. View the contents of all the hidden history files in the user's home directory. Cat history grep or pipe less. Okay, so cat it prints things out for us. We're catting a hidden file, I guess. Star history. So anything that ends in, so the asterisk is a wildcard. I believe that's what it's doing. So we're looking for anything that ends with history, and then we're piping that into less because we don't want to see everything, I guess. So what do we see? This is the history that it didn't save all my history from my separate root shells. That's what it is. Okay. We can't scroll this bad boy. That's okay. I don't see anything that looks like a password. Note that the user has tried to connect to a MySQL server at some point using the root username and a password submitted via the command line. Note that there is no space between the P option and the password. Oh, I missed it? Did I miss it? Oh, P, password, 123. Nice password, dude. Alright, sick. We already knew that because... Oh, how do I get out of here? Stop. Get me out. Quit. Q. Press Q. Press Q to quit. Okay. Root password. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got root. Exit. User. Back to user. Alright. What is the full MySQL command the user executed? Well, sir, why didn't you ask me that when I had it open? MySQL h sumhost local uroot p password 123. See if I can remember that. I already forgot. No, that's not even close. H MySQL h sumhost.local. .local uroot key password. Boom, correct answer. Nailed it. Second try. Config files often contain passwords in plain text or other reversible formats. List the contents of the user's home directory. Config files? Really? That seems unwise. ls home user. Q out of here. ls home user. We got a VPN file, we got service, and we got tools. Note the presence of a myvpn.ovpn config file. View the contents of the file. Cat that thing. Home user myvpn. Okay, so in the Kali Linux terminal, I haven't figured out how tab completion works, but in Terminator, if I start typing some letters and there's only one possibility for what that could be based on my directory that I'm navigating to, and I hit tab, then it automatically types the rest of it for me. So since I already listed the contents of home user, I knew there's only one file that starts with M. So I hit M, hit tab, boom, it types it out for me. It's awesome. Okay, so we got client, dev tune, proto UDP, remote blah blah, resolve, retry, infinite, no bind, auth user pass, etc, open VPN auth.txt. Ooh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's cat etc open VPN auth.txt. Look at that, root password 123. And just for kicks, we'll put that in. Boom, I'm root again. This is kind of empowering. I'm just owning this guy over and over again. His computer is not secure. That was an etc open VPN auth.txt. Alright, cool. I'm just curious. Huh? My live stream says the average view duration is 27 minutes. Interesting. I think it's because I have no viewers. Alright, so passwords and keys, SSH keys. Sometimes users make backups of important files, but fail to secure them with the correct permissions. Look for hidden files and directories in the system root. No, I want to see this. Yes. lsla / Okay. In root. lsla. Nope. Was that right? Yep. Lost and found looks interesting. Everything else looks like it's supposed to be there, but I could be wrong. There appears to be a hidden directory called SSH. View the contents. LSL SSH. Did I do that command wrong initially? Because I don't see an SSH. Oh snap! That does look interesting. Okay. What am I doing here? LSL. It gives us a root key. That's pretty cool. Okay, note there's a world readable file called root key. Yes, and we know it's world readable because there is an R here, an R here, and an R here, which means root and users and something can read it. I need my Linux Plus. Note that there's copy the key over to your Kali box. It's easier to just view the contents of the root key file and copy paste the key and give it the correct permissions. Otherwise, your SSH client will refuse to use it. Okay. So Wait, what? It's easier to just view the contents of the root key file and copy paste the key and give it the correct permissions. Otherwise, your SSH client will refuse it. So, are we copying? Wait, what are we doing here? .ssh. .ssh is a directory. Of course it is. What? Cat root key. Give me that key, boy. Alright. So if we take this, and I'm gonna use nano root key dot ssh. Is that right? Paste that key. Exit out of here. Save the dude. Yes, sir. Show me that key. Root key dot ssh. And then chmod 600 root key. Bada bing, bada boom. Use the key to log in. SSHI root key root at blah blah blah. SSHI audio whatever. Unable to negotiate. Ah, man, that stupid. Nah. That stinking thing. We need this bad boy. Forgive my usage of the mouse. I'm just a script kiddie. Sign and send public key. No mutual signature supported. Interesting. Wait. We're not supposed to need the password. What did I do wrong here? I think... I mean, they didn't add an extension. Is it not SSH or something? What is it? Okay. Bless me. If we copy, let's change the name. Root key. I don't know. Chmod 600 root key. This is the kind of troubleshooting where I don't know what the issue is. I'm shooting in the dark. This is not the recommended method. But identity file root key not accessible. Okay. So error code, Google is my best friend. Stack Overflow or server fault or GitHub. That looks complicated. Alright, oh, check this out. So TryHackMe has this awesome feature where you can get help. There's a help button and there's write-ups, and let's check it out. Cool. So they have write-ups. Sometimes they have YouTube videos that also will walk you through it step by step. We are on task 18, so let's go there. Boom. Control F, baby. Efficiency. Copy over the root key. So what does he do? He chmods it, then he ls alerts it. Wait, what? How you do that? Okay, so he task 17, task 18. Okay, so we see the root key in SSH. He did an ifconfig to get the IP address of the remote machine. Then he changed the permissions on the root key. Well, how did he copy the root key? I want to know that because anyway, it's fine, it's cool, it's fine. Chmod. He chmods it. Oh, ls lrt root key. Let's try that because we want to know if we set the right permissions for our key. Root key. That's me, that's my name, Vince. I can read and write, and it's a 1. What's his say? Read, write, 1, Cali. Cool, same permissions. Do the thing. Oh, I wonder if that key error thingy, because we need a private and a public for one key type. Maybe not the other key type. So, well, let's try this again, but let's do DSS. Root key, let me in, whoa, crazy. 10-10 walk through. A man in the middle attack, whoa. Dude. Did I actually overwrite my own host key? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, since I can't figure it out, we're gonna move on. It'd be pretty epic if I was actually getting hacked on stream right now. That'd be kind of a cool stream. I'm not worried about it, so I think I'm just ignorant, and that's fine. In which case, we will move on. That's okay. And for the sake of interesting content. Files created via NFS inherit the remote user's ID. If the user is root and root squashing is enabled, the ID will instead be set to the nobody user. Interesting. Check the NFS share configuration on the Debian VM. Cat etc exports. Hello? Cat etc exports. What do we got? We got a bunch of access control list, NFS v2 v3, serve homes, hostname 1, hostname 2, GSS. Okay. Cool. Note that the temp share has root squashing enabled. How know that? No root squash. But here, it doesn't say no root squash. So that's how we know that, I guess? Okay, cool. On your Kali box, switch to your root user if you're not already running as root. On my Kali box, oh, that's why we have probably hard issues with the SSHing. I think this room is old. I think they think that I'm using one of their virtual machines to attack their virtual machine. So because I'm actually using my own device that's running Kali and VPNing into their network, that's probably why we're having issues with the SSH key. Just a guess. So if you want to test that and figure it out, and you're not streaming and want to just move on to the next task, then run their Kali box, which is like up here, start attack box. So even if you're a free subscriber to this platform, which is, by the way, like $10 a month, it's totally worth it. You can start this attack box, and it'll load you up a virtual machine in like a side window. I want to show you guys, but it's just loading. Perfect time to drink some coffee. Okay, so yeah, now you can see it. It loads. It takes a while. But this is cool because this is already on the same network as the target machine, which is this IP address, and then they'll give you a separate IP address for this machine. And there's some cool things you can do with this. But you get a certain amount of time if you're a free subscriber. I think it's like an hour a day or something. But if you just install Kali Linux on one of your machines, you can dual boot, or you could just, a spare computer or something, or if you really want to just run Kali Linux for your everyday stuff, you could just install it. But anyway, that's probably why it wasn't working. Where were we? Using Kali's root user, create a mount point on your Kali box and mount the temp share. Update the IP accordingly. You know what? I'm not sure I want to do this one, because then I have to show my IP to you guys, which is probably not a big deal, but I'm going to err on the side of caution. Okay, here's what we'll do. We will start this box, we will go to the next task, and we'll come back. Kernel exploits can leave the system in an unstable state, which is why you should only run them as a last resort. Interesting, okay. You guys still see okay? Can I move this? Let's make it smaller. No? Okay. That's fine. Run the Linux Exploit Suggester 2 tool to identify potential kernel exploits on the current system. Perl home user tools kernel exploits Linux Exploit Suggester 2 Linux Exploit Suggester 2.pl. Okay. So I've done a little bit of Metasploit. So I'm guessing it's like a vulnerability finder. Like when you use SearchSploit, you can find vulnerabilities for different programs, web applications, all kinds of stuff. Exploits, kernel, home user tools. So this tool is probably something like that. Kernel exploits, Linux Exploit Suggester 2. Linux Exploit Suggester 2.pl. No such file or directory. Kernel. Bam. Control and directional arrows are your friend when navigating text. Oh, and if you don't know, to call the most recent command, you just press up. You can go up, 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 down, 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 etc. Actually, that's it. There's no etc. Okay, so we got exploits. On exploits, we got Dirty Cow. So these are CVEs, critical or common something, vulnerabilities and exploits. And then they're listed by date and then the number that it was discovered, like in that date. So you can look these up online, exploitdb.com. You can search by the program name you're trying to exploit, or the version number, or the OS, or whatever. It's awesome. So this is linked to that. Okay, cool. So Dirty Cow, right? The popular Linux kernel exploit Dirty Cow should be listed. Exploit code for Dirty Cow can be found at home user tools kernel exploits Dirty Cow cow.c. It replaces the suid file user bin password with one that spawns a shell. a backup of user bin password is made at temp back. Compile the code and run it. Note that it may take several minutes to complete. That's perfect, because now we can do the other task. GCC pthread. Excuse me, sir. Pthread, home user tools, kernel, blah, 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 blah. I'm not typing that out. Let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. No such thing. No such thing, your face. Ah, okay. Delete. There we go. No input files. No such thing. Your face? There's no such thing. It's because I did the P thread. I put a space. There's no space. Dirty cow! Oh my gosh, the dirty cow is running. That's a dirty cow. He's pooping out the user bin password file. A dirty cow. Alright. So while that's running, let's go back here and let's do this thing. So this is a chance to show you the Kali box that they give you on their platform, which is kind of cool. So we're gonna make a file called tempnfs, which is, I guess, I'm pretty sure it's like a mount point, and then we're gonna mount a read write vers equal to we need our IP address. Control T. Nope. IP address. I have config. I know that one. I have funfig. Holy snap, we got a bunch of ETH0. INET 10.10.97.166. So we go here and boom, temp NFS. Requested NFS version or transport protocol is not supported. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to be running as I am. Mcdir temp nfs mount O read write version 2 IP address temp NFS. No good. Huh. This is their box. They didn't configure it for their box. So then, if that doesn't work, what do you mean I can't? What? Are you serious? Alright. Whatever. We do this. Boom. Boom. And let's go back to the version number. And it might not work with version 1, but we could try and see if they have version 1. Mount system call failed. Huh. America Y. That's too bad. Well, let's go through it. Let's go through it theoretically, so that we're still learning. That's the point of all this, is learning. That's why I don't stress out over looking things up. I don't stress out over not figuring out all the way. The goal is progress, not perfection, right? So yeah, look things up, figure it out, take your time if you want. If you want to just blaze through it, that's fine too. Do, your style. The point is to learn. So, still using Kali's root user. Generate a payload using MSF Venom and save it to the mounted share. This payload simply calls bin bash. So, Oh, hold on. Do we need to SSH into this bad boy? User at 10.10.97.166. Oh boy. Yes. Oh, so that is why the SSH thing, or That's at least why. That's at least why I get that stupid key password, key error. Yeah, user. Wait a minute. That's my IP address. This is his IP address. Huh. Well, I'm pretty confused, but that's okay. Just keep going. No, 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 no. No, sir. No, sir. There's a way to copy stuff from this Kali box to anywhere outside of this Kali box. It's I was trying to SSH into my own machine from my Kali box. So you pop out this little side guy here, and you press clipboard, and then whatever you've copied from out here will show up in here, or you can replace it. Like, so I have the IP address, right? So now I pop it back in, and now I can paste here. That's a lot of annoyance. So, you know, that's why I prefer to use my own machine. Well, just one reason, but also it's time consuming. So we make dir. Oh, we already made dir. So let's mount O read write version equals 2. Oh, so maybe that's why. Maybe I was trying to do it to my own machine before. Only root can do that. So if you type sudo and you type 2 exclamation marks, it will run the previous command as root, which is super cool. User is not allowed to execute bin mount as root on Debian local domain. Interesting. Very interesting. Isn't the point of this and we're done. Yeah, I don't have the patience for this right now. I need to eat breakfast. Okay, kernel exploits. Kernel exploits can leave the system in an unstable state, which is why you should only run them as a last resort. Thanks for nothing, Calibox. I'm sure we were like this close to getting it. Yeah, it's fine. Kernel exploits can leave the system in an unstable state, which is why you should only run them as last resort. Run the O. Oh, we were already doing this one. We did this. Look at that. User bin password to temp back mmap A5,804,000. That's not how you read that. Once the exploit completes, run user bin password to gain a root shell. Cool. User bin password. Root shell! Haha! Man, I feel like that's been a while. So, the reason this worked is because so only as last resort, so that must be why this is one of the last exploits. So I don't know why this works. I understand what it's doing, right? So we are replacing the suid file with a shell spawner. My question is, why can we do that? I know how we know that we can do that, because we used the Linux exploit suggester, that dirty suggester. In any case, remember to restore the original user bin password file and exit the root shell before continuing. Move temp back, user bin password, exit. Okay. Move temp back. User bin password. Done. And done. Alright. That was cool. That was a cool one. Several tools have been written in which help find potential privilege escalations on Linux. 3 of these tools have been included on the Debian VM in the following directory: Home User Tools Priv-Esc Scripts. Experiment with all 3 tools, running them with different options. Do all of them identify the techniques used in this room? Home User Tools Priv-Esc Scripts. Cool. Priv-Esc. Do svedania. Home User Tools Priv-Esc Scripts. That's what I put. How dare you? Ah, I see. It's a directory. So we got lin.enum.sh, linpeas.sh, and lse.sh. So I'd used these before. These are pretty neat. How to run file. How to run file. Bash. This is embarrassing. You're embarrassing me. How to run file. We bash it. It's a bash script. We bash it. Okay, so basically this looks at all the things, and tells us what could be exploited potentially. So this is a great like going in reverse. Say you gained initial access, the first thing you'd actually want to do, which is the last thing they had us do here, would be to run one of these tools. So linenum.sh, linpeas. If you have access to the machine, you can upload one of these and then run it. So let's see. It starts out, we got the cron tab contents, and it shows us this one. We did exploit this one earlier on because it's running every minute and it's running as root, or it might have been this one. I don't remember the exact details. I've been doing this over a course of a couple of weeks or days. It's been a while. So, man, I wonder if you guys can actually read that. Alright. Networking. Cool. Gives us some IP addresses, some ARP history. Ooh, is that my address? Ooh. Maybe. Name server. Listening on these ports. We didn't do any port exploit stuff because we're already in the machine. So services, running processes. Okay, bunch of stuff. So anyways, yeah, basically this. Oh, so I think we did something with MySQL. Yeah, this is cool. It just tells you, it gives you a bunch of information. And as we learn more exploits and what to look for and what things look like, then this would be super helpful. But since I'm not as familiar, I'm still getting introduced to Linux Privilege Escalation. I'm just kind of, I'm perusing. I'm perusing and browsing. There's the MySQL again. We exploited. We can connect to the local MySQL service as root and without a password. So that gives you that helpful information right there. They give you the Apache version that it's running. That's cool because you could put that in search exploit or Linux exploit suggester too. Interesting files. They have netcat. They have wget. They have nmap. They have a compiler. So all of that could be used in different ways, right? And it shows you again their compilers. we can read and write to all of these files: password, group, profile, shoutout. So we did some of those, and then it gives us all the SUID files. Blah blah blah. Good stuff. Possibly interesting. We did exploit that in this video. SGID files. I believe we also exploited that. NFS config details. We exploited that, or we were supposed to. Anyway, you get the idea. It gives us the bash history. It shows us the password that we found. Cool. Yeah. So anyway, that is that tool. Let's check out the other ones, just for the sake of being thorough. We got linpeas, so let's bash linpeas.sh. This one is a bit more cute and colorful. It gives you, I would suggest this one if you're doing enumeration, because if you're like me and you don't know what you're looking for, the color coding makes it extremely easy to find actual exploits. So we would, I can't scroll all the way to the top. So I'll just do it. So I'm gonna run the previous command, and I'm gonna pipe it into linpage.text. Dutch not work. Touch linpeas.text. It's not. It's not a pipe. It's a redirect. It's a boom, and then we boom. So the greater than sign. Or the right angle bracket, as it is also known. Okay, so now that's done, we can nano, which is a text editor. We will nano linpeas.text, and it looks amazing. We don't get the color. Dang. Okay, I don't like that. I'm not about that. I want that color life. Okay, so let's just scroll through real quick. Okay, so boom, right off the bat they highlight no root squash. Oh my gosh, we can exploit that. Permit root login on port 22, so we can log in as root straight into SSH. They highlight the password thingy for us with the auth.text. That's epic. Okay. We got a bunch of easy priv-esque. they're marking this as low-hanging fruit, right? So we got a sudo new group, sudo edit, whatever that means. So yeah, we can. These are all commands that we can execute in these files. So easy privilege escalation. What else we got? We got an SSH file that's unexpected. So this thing, man, it does your work for you. It shows you what to look at. Then all you have to do, is Google how to exploit SSH, right? How to exploit an SSH file on a remote on a target computer. And then look, we can read shadow files. We have permissions we shouldn't have. Modified interesting files in the last 5 minutes. Well, that was all me. Blah blah blah. Backup files. We got this configuration file that we can that's owned by root. So bashrc.profile. Looking for passwords inside history. Boom, there's a password. That's pretty neat. Interesting writable files owned by me or writable by everyone. So yeah, password files, shadow file, which from what I understand, shadow file contains a hash. A hash of the password, yes. Password. So it's picking up a lot of files that are here because TryHackMe put them here because to help us hack the machine. I think. I don't know if that's what those are, but those do exist. So, boom, boom, boom. All right. Well, you guys get the idea. That's pretty much it. So, anyways, this is my first time doing a live stream. I don't think anyone watched the live stream, but my hope is that if you guys want to get a walkthrough on this room, then you can watch this video later. So I might do some minor editing, and thanks for watching. Bye.